Cars 2 is widely considered the weakest film in the trilogy. It gets a lot of criticism, and honestly, for good reason. However, many people don't know that the movie was initially supposed to be different. As a result, there are many deleted scenes, some of which could have completely changed the film. I went through all of them, and today I'll share only the most important and interesting ones. Let's jump into it. One of the biggest complaints about the movie is that it focused more on Mater's spy adventures than actual racing, and I agree, that was a huge flaw. But some deleted scenes reveal that there were originally supposed to be more races. For example, Tokyo's race was cut down quite a bit. Initially, it was meant to be much longer. Plus, you probably remember that every race was constantly interrupted by spy action scenes. But from what we can see, the original plan was to show this race without spies. Here's one of the moments that got cut.
Whoa, Francesco on the move. He grammatically slips into sixth, and he's looking for more. No! Lewis slams the door.
In total, about a minute of this race was removed. And honestly, that's a shame. This scene proves that Cars 2 could have been a much better movie than what we actually got. Everything could have been handled differently. Now, the next deleted scene also shows that the film was supposed to be very different. Originally, the film was supposed to have 5 races, compared to just 3 in the final cut. There were supposed to be 2 more races, one in Germany and another in France. On top of that, more countries were also meant to appear in the movie. For example, the opening scene was initially set in Prague instead of the middle of the ocean. Moreover, a different villain was planned, and the movie itself was supposed to be much darker. The Prague scene featured a spy named Leland Turbo. You might remember him from the beginning of Cars 2 when he was communicating with Finn McMissile via video call. In the deleted version, he tries to escape from the villains and runs into a junkyard where he gets caught.
Identify yourself.
After that, they throw him under a car crusher and torment him. Honestly, this is quite brutal for Pixar. We see his slow and gruesome demise unfold on screen. After that, we're introduced to the main villain, who was supposed to be named Zil. It's implied that he was Russian. Then Agent Turbo is killed.
He will stop you.
We will see.
This opening would have made the movie much darker. It would have been interesting to see, even though the whole spy storyline would have remained in this version. By the way, this isn't the only disturbing scene, but we'll talk about that later. Before we continue the video, let me introduce today's sponsor, Pia VPN. If you didn't know, many websites block content based on your location and even track your data. Using public Wi-Fi without protection can put your personal data at risk. That's where private internet access comes in. Pia hides your IP address and encrypts your internet connection, keeping your browsing private and secure. I personally chose Pia VPN because it's high speed and helps find movies in different languages. With servers in 91 countries, you can bypass geo-restrictions and access region-locked content, whether it's movies, TV shows on Netflix, or even better online deals on flights and games. For instance, tons of anime could be available just by turning on the VPN. Pia works on Windows, macOS, iOS, Android, smart TVs, and more, and one subscription protects unlimited devices. And right now, you can get an exclusive deal, 83% off plus 4 extra months free. That's just $2.03 per month. And with the 30-day money-back guarantee, you can try it risk-free. Click the link in the description and get it. Now let's move on to the next deleted scene. It shows how the first race was initially supposed to look. In this version, it takes place in Germany instead of Tokyo. The entire race was set on dirt roads and in the countryside.
Welcome into Deutschland, everyone. You're watching Sebastian Citroën, French rally car extraordinaire.
In this version, the racer representing Germany was supposed to be Marlene Wolfsburg instead of Sebastian Vettel as seen in the final film. Marlene was apparently meant to be a fan favorite and seemed to play a more significant role than the other racers.
Hometown hero Marlene Wolfsburg.
Also, in this scene, Mater was supposed to leave McQueen. Overall, it's a solid sequence, and there's no mention of spies here, which is definitely a good thing. Now let's talk about one of the weirdest and cringiest deleted scenes. This scene was an alternate opening for the movie. At first, everything seems normal. We see McQueen racing. In one shot though, he weirdly jumps on top of other cars.
Come on. Hey, get off of me! Lightning McQueen pulls an amazing move and has...
After that, things go completely off the rails. The other cars suddenly start turning into clowns. Yes, clowns.
What? Who's this clown? What the heck?
After this madness, Mater rescues McQueen, and then Mater starts fighting ninjas.
Nobody tries to kill my best friend.
Of course, it turns out that this was all just a wild story Mater told to reporters. But can you imagine how ridiculous this would have been as the opening for Cars 2? We already got a pretty questionable opening in the final version, but this, it would have been way worse. Honestly, I'm just glad they scrapped it. But it would be cool if the whole second movie were just Mater's fiction too, right? Now, the next scene was supposed to take place in Paris. It had a really cool concept, an entire 24-hour race of Le Mans.
We enter hour 20 of this grueling race.
Brett, most of these racers have never been in a 24-hour Le Mans-style endurance race.
Unfortunately, all the usual spy nonsense was meant to interrupt the race. In this version, Mater ruins the race because he thinks a villain is in the grandstands blowing up cars. But it turns out to be just a regular French schoolteacher.
And she's one of them scary cars that tried to kill me in Italy.
What? I am just innocent schoolteacher visiting Basilica.
One interesting moment is a conversation between McQueen and a German racer named Marlena. As I previously said, it looks like she was supposed to appear quite frequently in the movie.
Wow, you don't look tired at all, Marlena.
I am the ultimate Le Mans. I am built for this, McQueen.
Overall, this scene is pretty average, but has an interesting concept of a 24-hour race. But the next one is much more intriguing. This scene took place in Germany. Here, Mater goes to Octoberfest, where he meets other tow trucks.
You want to come inside? Yes, come inside with us. Hey, check it out. I'm wearing Mater hoses.
Then Mater accidentally ends up in a dark ride attraction. It looks really creepy.
I ain't scared. I ain't scared. I ain't scared. I ain't... Ah!
Some of the rides are outright terrifying. Just look at this one.
It's not scary. It's not scary.
But then things get even more unsettling. Mater meets a spy who asks him to pass something to Finn McMissile right before dying right before him.
Tell him nothing.
Mater assumes it's all just part of the attraction and simply floats away. Next, there was a deleted scene before the Tokyo race. It was supposed to introduce the racers and display their stats, like top speed, acceleration, and more. Pretty interesting.
Francesco Bernoulli. Lightning McQueen.
It was just a short scene, but seeing it in the final movie would have been cool. We also would have seen the stats for other racers.
Raul Sarul. Miguel Camino.
In addition to that, there were some smaller scenes. I'm not sure whether they were meant to be in the movie's final version, but for many countries, small videos were made where the characters visited other countries. For example, there's a scene where Lightning and Mater are sitting on a plane, watching a video about Japan, or where the characters are in Russia.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa?
Konnichiwa. It means good afternoon in Japanese.
Let us take a glimpse at what you experience in...
Also, the movie was supposed to have more scenes with trains since it's set in Europe. For instance, an alternative version of Holly is shown in the scene called Train to Spain. She has an accent, and it seems like she's smoking or something.
Okay.
I am fine, excuse me. Sometimes I overheat a little bit. It can happen, you know, when you are dragged onto a train.
Additionally, there's another train scene where Mater's heading to find Holly, but ends up meeting Finn McMissile instead.
That's the woman from the village. Excuse me? Excuse me, ma'am.
In this version, Finn has a device that allows him to create holograms based on memory.
Memory interface. Tokyo trackside, 922 turn 9.
Whoa, we're in Tokyo. Whoa.
Yes.
This scene is entirely connected to the spy plot, so it's not all that interesting. Still, it's at least cool that the action takes place on a train. Overall, I really liked some of the scenes. For example, the extended version of the Tokyo race scene or the race in Germany. But some of the scenes were a bit odd, and it's probably for the best that they were cut. What do you think about these deleted scenes? Would the movie have been better with them? Let me know in the comments. See ya!